Alpha Team, intel says you're in the wrong building. Proceed 3 buildings to the north.
100 yards to the north, roger.
Roger. Dry hole.
Let's go.
You got a target 200 yards, get the scope up.
Okay, roger that.
It's a hostile.
Got it.
It's down.
Got it. Door. Bang
Okay.
out.
Got it.
Bang out.
Ready?
Get on the ground, door front! Stay down, get down! Get down, stay down! Stay down!
Roof clear.
Right.
Ready.
Stay down!
Stay down. Don't look at me. Stay down.
Clear left.
Clear right. Higher, this is Alpha Team. We found it. Stalingrad, 1942 to 1943. The first time urban house-to-house fighting was conducted on such a massive scale.
It was the first time either the Germans or the Russians had been called upon to engage in this type of fighting. Plus, it was a particularly long and violent battle.
Neither army was properly trained for these types of operations, and they essentially learned as they fought. While combat is an excellent teacher, it is very expensive in lives and material.
In this scenario, we're going to take a look at the MP40 and the K98K, two weapons that were both used by the German army at Stalingrad.
Essentially World War I technology, the K98K was the standard German infantry rifle used in Stalingrad.
The MP40 was very controllable to shoot and a very dynamic weapon in an urban environment, and it served the German soldier well in Stalingrad.
The K98K is a manually operated bolt-action rifle with a 5-round capacity, less than ideal in an urban fighting situation like Stalingrad.
Larry got a target out there about 200 yards.
Yeah, I see him. I got him.
With the long distances that were sometimes encountered at Stalingrad, the 9mm chambering in the MP40 was virtually ineffective.
With you.
The MP40 that the Germans used in Stalingrad was easy to maneuver due to its compact size and very controllable under rapid fire.
The K-98K, however, would have been long and difficult to maneuver in room clearing operations. The safety on the K-98K was difficult to use under stress, which means that most Wehrmacht soldiers, no doubt, would have just bypassed it completely.
When properly maintained, the MP40 was a very reliable weapon, which was a necessity at hand-to-hand ranges.
Out in the street, engaging Soviet troops at a distance, the K-98K would have been a suitable choice. However, in room-to-room combat, the German soldier would have been at a severe disadvantage when armed with this 5-shot bolt-action rifle.
Outside at greater distance, the MP40 has some challenges. But inside a house, at the time of Stalingrad, this was the Cadillac of all the German submachine guns.
Iwo Jima. Taking the 10 square miles of barren rock in the Pacific cost nearly 7,000 American lives. On February 19, 1945, more than 30,000 Marines under the command of General Howland Mad Smith hit the beach, only to confront a maze of ingeniously constructed tunnels and fire positions, defended by 21,000 Japanese. Known as Operation Detachment, the U.S. invasion was the first American attack on the Japanese home islands in the Second World War, and it would take 5 weeks before the island was secured.
The Marines that hit Iwo Jima that day in 1945 were facing many challenges. First and foremost was just getting established on the beach. Once they got established and they gained a foothold, they started receiving hellish fire from the Japanese. They had to start the push inland. If you were going to start pushing inland with those Marines that day, what weapon would you choose? If I were choosing a weapon, I'd be thinking about 4 key factors. I'd want to make sure the weapon is handy and easy to use and portable. Number 2, I'd want to make sure the weapon has as much a capacity as possible. I want as many bullets in it as I can get. Number 3, I want to make sure it has firepower, it hits hard. And last but not least, I want to make sure it's accurate. So if I pull the trigger, the bullet's going where I want it to go. So your 3 choices are the M1 Garand, already a legend by this point in time in 1945. It had proved itself in countless battles in the European and the Pacific theater. The M1 Carbine, a very light, portable weapon, very popular with the troops. And we're going to push forward a little bit, 12 years or so, and look at the M14 and see if that particular weapon with its 20-round magazine capacity would bring an advantage to this battle that the other 2 weapons don't.
The legendary M1 Garand would be an excellent choice due to the fact that it was highly accurate and highly reliable.
The M1 Garand, no doubt, would be an excellent choice. However, in this particular instance, the 8-round capacity of the Garand would be a hindrance on that push inland coming off that beach.
The M1 Carbine, which was actually there in Iwo Jima, would be an excellent choice due to its 15-round magazine and the fact that it's lightweight and easy to maneuver.
With a 15-round magazine capacity, the M1 Carbine would definitely be an advantage on that assault off the beach. However, the .30 caliber carbine cartridge doesn't have the punch you would need to penetrate through fortified positions. My choice, if it were available on Iwo Jima, would have been the M14. It provides the magazine capacity of the M1 Carbine with the punch of the M1 Garand. That firepower and that capacity is the reason I would choose the M14.
In 1989 in Panama, U.S. forces had to secure buildings and installations in densely populated areas.
There were large numbers of American and Panamanian citizens in the region. They were under threat by Panamanian forces or could become collateral victims of U.S. action.
It was necessary for political reasons and public opinion to keep collateral damages to a minimum. However, when the Panamanian Army headquarters were attacked, it sparked off several fires that were located in heavily populated areas in Panama City.
Panamanian military and police forces, often dressed in civilian clothes, mingled with Panamanian civilians, which made target discrimination very difficult for U.S. forces.
These factors made the urban conflict in Panama very challenging, since Americans wanted to appear as liberators, not invaders. In Panama, the MP5 was a primary weapon system in use by special operations and rarely found itself used by conventional forces.
The M16 was also used by special forces, but was the primary weapon used by conventional forces during the Panama invasion. In Panama, the M16 was effective for street fighting, only hindered by the lack of accessories available at that time.
We're out there about 200 yards.
Okay, I see.
In Panama, where shots could sometimes be at extended ranges, having an MP5 was really like having nothing more than a big, easy-to-shoot pistol.
In Panama, the M16 had neither white lights nor optics, which was a hindrance both inside and out.
In Panama, where much of the fighting took place indoors, this is where the MP5 really shines.
The standard infantry rifle for U.S. forces in Panama was the M16. It's a little long for CQB operations, but it's still usable for the task.
The MP5's select fire capability, high magazine capacity, and ultra reliability made it easy to take the fight to the enemy in Panama.
Accurate and controllable, it's easy to see why a shortened version of the M16 became the preferred assault rifle for special operations after Panama.
It's commonplace today for soldiers to engage every target they encounter with only 2 rounds. Now the training scar here is that no 2 targets are the same. One may only take 1 round, the next one may take many more. There's a lot of factors that determine how many shots will be required to neutralize a target. But 2 really important ones are shot placement and shoot until the threat is out of there. Today on Training Scars, we're going to utilize a drop target. It's designed to take multiple hits before it falls to its lowest position. But as in real life, you never know how many that's going to be. That explosion you just heard was a simulated RPG fired at me from the first target that I failed to neutralize. That's what this training scar is about. All right, let's reset this drill and do it correctly. I'm going to use my simulated cover to work around. I'm going to engage each target as I see them, one at a time, until they are fully and completely neutralized before I go to the next. As you just saw, each one of those targets took a different number of rounds to neutralize. Remember, don't shoot to a number, shoot till the threat's gone. All right, so we all know that shooting a moving target is harder, right? Of course we do. So why don't we practice it? The fact is that most gunfights involve at least a little bit of movement. Whether the bad guy's moving, whether you're moving, or whether you're both moving. So we need to incorporate that into our training. So we need to practice shooting on the move, shooting moving targets, and shooting moving targets on the move. If I had this handful of rocks and I threw them at you as hard as I could, you would not just stand there. Nobody stands still in a gunfight, so you need to get moving. In Iraq, U.S. forces trained for rapid, mechanized battlefield maneuvers found themselves engaged in urban house-to-house combat, while at the same time trying to control hostile street demonstrations.
In this environment, new weapons and tactics have to be developed on the go.
It's almost impossible to recognize the difference between insurgents and non-combatants, which increases the risk for collateral damage.
At the same time, tribal, ethnic, and religious differences make for a suspicious and unreliable civilian population. Groups change sides on a whim. Allies today, enemies tomorrow.
In today's scenario, I'll be utilizing a variant of the M4. Now the actual M4 is slightly shorter and is capable of full automatic fire.
In addition, I'll be using an M4 equipped with some state-of-the-art accessories which enhance the capabilities of today's soldier.
In an unforgiving environment like the Middle East, it's important to have a weapon that's easy to maintain and keep clean. The M4 does a good job of this.
The M4 is a light, handy carbine unless you strap a lot of stuff on it. So you need to think about that before you do it because it gets heavy fast.
The M4 has the ability to mount many different optics, not all of which are good in every situation. Like this reflex sight, it's great for indoors and close range, but it's not very good for target ID at a distance. Larry, I got a target out there about 200 yards.
Got it.
Can't tell if he's good or bad.
It's a hostile. That has led to the development of specialized scopes like this one that allow you to use it like a reflex sight indoors, but when you come out in the street, you have the ability to magnify it and use it more like a conventional scope outdoors. In Iraq, there's a time and a place for both flashbangs, a type of diversionary device, and fragmentation grenades.
The M4's ergonomic design and ease of use make it easy to use for right-handers and left-handers like me.
One of the best features about the M4 is a retractable buttstock that allows you to adjust it for different body types as well as body armor. A dual mag holder like this mounted to the M4 allows the operator to have up to 60 rounds of ammunition ready to go.
For U.S. forces to finally have a battle rifle that's compact in size but still a rifle caliber is a huge advantage in Iraq because of different mediums you might need to penetrate.
with an optic that's usable both indoors and out, a white light, a rail system that allows mounting IR lasers for night fighting. The M4, as you see it here, is state-of-the-art for weapon modularity.
With the development of the M4, U.S. forces are better equipped for urban combat than ever before.
Urban combat has been a part of military operations for decades, spanning all the way back to World War II. However, some things have not changed. For instance, the defender generally has the advantage. And, as a general rule in urban combat, you want to get out of the street. You do not want to be out in the open.
But some things have changed, like the advancement in optics, which allow a soldier to more easily transition from working inside to outside.
There's also been development in diversionary devices. For instance, in World War II, your only option was a frag grenade. Now, in Iraq, soldiers have the choice of diversionary devices such as flashbangs, a non-lethal option, to a lethal option, fragmentation grenade.
Urban combat is likely to remain common in military operations for the foreseeable future, so it's imperative that U.S. forces are properly trained for it.
Hey, thanks for watching the Vickers Tactical YouTube channel. To subscribe, click here, and to watch some of my favorite videos, click here. Have a good one. LAV out.